Hello, everyone. I'm working as a finance consultant in Workers Code, and I'll be starting over with the webinar for finance. Um, Moving forward, in D365, what's new? So, as you all already know that we have a release planner, which is by Microsoft, where you can see all the features. And of course, we have already put in a link here. If you are not aware, you can just go to the link and look for all the releases. Today, we will be discussing on 10.046, which was released in February, and we are discussing few topics from finance, supply chain management, and technical part. So these are the finance topics we'll be picking up. The first two will be introduced by me, followed by Matt, who will be showing you the next three features, which are in D365. So, are you excited? So let's start with the first feature, that is display pay name for customer and vendor. Um, just to be precise, pay name is really important. So have you might have seen that in vendor accounts or customer accounts, usually the payments get rejected because the pay name is not defined, or it's different from the vendor account. So now Microsoft has introduced a new field where you can add the pay name, which of course pops up in the payment journals and proposals and outbound payment files. What's the benefit? Of course, it improves the real-time payment data accuracy, and you will not have any more failed payments from the banks. Let's get into the system to understand how this feature works. So, uh, going to Workspace feature management, as this is a default feature, hopefully it will be already enabled for you, but just to understand, this is the feature named display pay name. I have already enabled it. And what happens once you enable this? When you go to accounts payable, all vendors, and go to any of the vendors, go to the bank accounts, and you can see that here you have the pay name displayed. So what more on this? The pay name is of course there in the vendor bank account, but once it is highlighted here, it is also there in your vendor payment journal. So I have created few demo cases to show in. And if I go to lines for the first one, you can see that there is an extra column added for pay name. And here also, if you go to the bank tab, you have the pay name as well. As a bonus, it's also there in the payment proposal. Just to show you quickly where it is coming. Yeah, so you can see the pay name is there here as well. And also it will be part of your payment files or outgoing payment files. And similar is there for customer as well, but I think it's more useful on the vendor side that your payments don't get failed. This are this is the few uh, demo cases which I created now, and I have added few slides for your reference purpose on where exactly the pay name is there. This was about the extended feature of pay name. Moving on, let's go to new feature again. That's bank account lifecycle management. On bank account lifecycle management, we have a very nice feature which has been introduced by Microsoft, that is a workflow approach for the bank accounts. So these bank accounts are your legal entity bank accounts, just like you have for vendor and customer changes. Now the feature enables any change on bank account will go through a workflow so that your information is safe. And you can also add signer details in the master data. What are the benefits? Benefits is, of course, securing sensitive information. As you're aware, you're also very keen on your personal bank accounts. So why not legal entity bank accounts are also safe and sound. So we will have all the controls on the bank accounts and nobody can just go and change anything. Now, to show again a demo on this part, let's go to the system. Here, the feature for this is bank account lifecycle management. Again, this is a default feature and I have already enabled it for demo purpose. As soon as we enable this feature, we have um, just a minute. We have something enabled extra in the cash and bank management at the end, that is cash and bank master data change setup. So what does this do? Here you can see that you have some things like change approval on modification, which is turned on, and on creation of bank account, if you need an approval, again, you can turn on this part in history if you need, and this also. So there are three types of data entity behavior. One, that if you want to allow changes without approval, you can enable that. Create change a proposal, that will create a workflow for you to submit, and reject changes means you cannot make any changes to bank account whatsoever. Here are the fields which are protected, and you can enable as per your business requirement what you want to enable. So we have bank accounts, active from, and many more like company ID. So right now I have just activated for bank account and bank account active form for the demo. And let me run you through what happens once this particular form is enabled. Let's go to the bank accounts. Now, here you can see there's an extra column added for change state, which was not there previously. So, so you can see that few of them says no changes and some says changes approved. So once when you created a bank account, you can do changes even later. So I have done few changes for these two bank accounts. That's why it says changes approved. And we can do few changes and see how the workflow works. So when I get into this, you can see again a new uh, uh, bracket added in ahead of few of the active from cases, like bank account number requires approval. This is something you can see where I have ticked the fields for approval. So all those fields have a extra column, extra bracket added that it requires approval. Now, if, for example, you just make a small change on making this as 5 and then this save, you can see that change proposal and it says it will be this before and this after, and then the workflow gets triggered. Now, once the workflow is getting triggered, you can see you can submit the workflow and then um, the changes will happen once the workflow is approved. So this might take some time. So I can show you something which I have previously done on change history part, what happens exactly. So if I go to change history, you can see that this one, which we recently submitted, is in pending status, and the rest I have already done some changes. So going to the second one and going to details, you will see that the bank account number was changed from 13 to 14 to know what was your history as well. So it will give history every time you make any change to the bank account. Also, this feature has a signer details where you can enter in the signer who has done the change and from when it was changed, like the start date of the change. And That's off about this feature. I have just added in few. I've added in few screenshots for you to understand how this feature works. And that's my time. I would like my Matt to take over the next few preview features. Thank you.
Thank you, Anshel. Hope you guys are all doing well. Thanks for joining the webinar and taking some time out of your day. So I'm going to be talking about 3 of the new features in 10.46. My first one is the bank reconciliation matching. So it's part of the cash and bank management module. It's in preview, and the way it currently works in 10.45 is an electronic bank statement is imported. The system automatically applies the matching rules, and then automatic matching happens, and the user reviews only the unmatched items. So this is a screenshot of what the user interface currently looks like. There's just the unmatched transactions and the matched transactions. With the new feature, there will be a new tab called Pending Review Screen. And so what this will do is it provides an intermediary preview screen for validation. So rather than just seeing the unmatched results, you can see all of the match results before confirming anything. So the benefits of this is it reduces reconciliation errors, as you've got kind of a checkpoint screen, and it provides a clear audit trail proving that the matches were actually reviewed by human prior to posting. So the next feature I want to talk about is the delayed invoice settlement. So this is in the accounts payable and accounts receivable module. This is also a in preview feature. So the current way that this works at the moment is you create a payment journal, and the payment is immediately settled against the transaction. So this is just what it currently looks like. And the new feature is it's delayed invoice settlement. So you can post the payment immediately without actually having to settle the transaction. So the settlement happens at a later stage. The benefits of this is it provides better stabilization for the system, as you can run that overnight by a batch job, and you can also quickly post the money against the customer without invoicing the settlement process. So the last new feature I want to talk about in 10.46 is under fixed assets modules. This is quite a cool one. It's called fixed asset intercompany transfer. So for the current process to put a asset into another legal entity is you have to dispose of the asset and reacquire the asset into the new legal entity. So there is an existing transfer fixed assets function, but that only applies to a single legal entity, which is where the new feature comes in, and it's quite cool. So the new previewed feature, you can split or transfer fixed assets across any legal entities automatically without having to dispose of them and reacquire them. And another new feature at the same time is there's going to be a data migration entity, which you will be able to do mass intercompany transfers as well. So the benefits of this is it eliminates manual recreation of assets, it's more time efficient, and it's easier to support reorganization of assets or restructuring.